And thanks for joining School of the American Rifle. Today's video is about this Centurion Arms sand cutter V2 bolt group. This one is with me because the owner sent it in for an inspection. We get lots of brands in for inspection, and we had to replace two things on this. One was the carrier key, and this is based on the customer's request, and one was the firing pin. So I'll go with the firing pin first. Firing pin protrusion was at 037, which is on the long side. It can punch through the primer if everything just happens to go wrong. So we replaced the firing pin, and now we have 34, which is still on the high side but not excessive. And then we replaced the carrier key. Now before we go into a little bit more detail with this abbreviated autopsy, physical, whatever you want to call it, Monty from Centurion Arms is aware of this particular bolt carrier group. I reached out to him, told him what I saw, and he said, tell the customer, we'll take care of that, we'll replace it. It must have slipped through. And the owner decided, hey, since I already had it, just go ahead and fix it. Don't bother Centurion Arms. So this isn't to throw shade at Centurion Arms. Monty does some great stuff, makes some great products. Sometimes stuff gets through. This is an example of one, and this is the first Centurion bolt carrier that I've seen that has taken my carrier key reject gauge. The gauge is .182, which falls outside of the accepted dimensions for the technical data package or the mil spec package. So I replaced the carrier key. The staking and the screws on this thing were fantastic. I had a heck of a time getting the screws out. I had to grind the staking off. So they did a bang-up job putting this together. It just so happens that one slipped through that has a slightly larger bore or tunnel for the gas tube to sit in. So what does that mean for you if you have one that was to take one of these pin gauges at 182? That means that it's slightly less gas efficient. We had a situation about 2 weeks ago where a student had two identical bolt carrier groups from the same manufacturer, one gun that he was working on building in the class. And we tested both bolt carrier groups in his host gun. And they both fired, they both ejected, they both cycled. But when it came down to firing the last round in the magazine, the one that took this gauge did not lock the bolt open on the last round, where the one that didn't take this gauge, the one that had the proper dimensions, locked open on the last round. Now it's possible after the gun breaks in, after the gas system seals up on the front end, that it would have started locking open. But what making sure when you are looking for efficiency of the bolt carrier group and the gas system gives you is that it gives you more insurance against weird issues that might pop up with slightly weaker ammo or environmental changes where things get cold or the gun gets dirty. It ensures when you have an efficient gas system that the gun is going to fire, cycle, eject, and lock open on the last round. So it's not an absolute pass-fail thing, but Centurion Arms was willing to make this right, and I just changed it because the customer was like, hey, you have it. So we'll chalk this supplement as an autopsy, but it still would have ran in some guns that have a little bit more gas. The firing pin might have punched through some primers if it had shorter headspace. But this is not an attack on Centurion Arms. This is an example of one. And as always, I hope you found this video educational, and thanks for watching.